Welcome to What's Happening. I'm Brad.
I'm Fred.
So we talk about what's happening. What's happening with you, bro?
Not much, man. Just had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Had some of those top four on the list. You know what I mean? I had some of the top four on the list. You know what I'm saying, on my plate. My Wolverines won. Go Blue. Yeah, baby. I know you're a Sparty fan. It's okay. I know
Wait a minute.
y'all beat us, but guess what? Y'all ain't a factor, so it doesn't matter. You know, you're not talking about playoffs, so don't go into that deep dive. We're on something different. But with that being said, what's happening with you, bro?
Man, I don't remember you being a Michigan fan. I just
Always.
I guess I just forgot.
We had this conversation because
sure.
you know what? Fact, story time with your boy already. So me and Brad used to, work for a company back in Ohio, and I remember I used to be like, "Go Blue," and he'd be like, "What?" He was like, "Look, you really don't know the story behind it. So like, let me let you know the story. So like, we don't say Go Blue as Black people because that's not that's not our side of of things. It's not our side of town per se. They don't really want us there. They didn't want us there. Now times is different, but back in the day they didn't want us there.
Hey, back then they ain't want us.
Now hi, they all love me, huh? So yeah. But yeah, so I was a Go Blue fan, just to remind you. But yeah, that was a small little story time. I don't really remember the full details of that. If he wants to go on that story, that's on him.
I don't remember it at all. So that's the story time. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm glad the holiday weekend was good with you and the family, man. We you know what I'm saying, we it was good here. We went to the parade, the American Thanksgiving parade downtown Detroit every year, and we didn't go in 2020 because of COVID.
Okay.
But we did go this year, and it was raining and it was cold, and so there also ended up being a 20-minute delay between the floats. So we decided to go ahead and get back to the crib and watch it on the good old television. But it was cool, man. We just relaxed in the house as a family all day. Ate some good dinner, and it was cool. Work was easy. Saturday, I do a little bit of volunteering on the fourth Saturday every month. So I did that, and
that's dope.
It was cool, man. Yeah. So no complaints on my side at all. But yeah, man. Relative to what you said about you had some of those things on your plate, man. Last week we had our Thanksgiving episode, and man, I got a lot of positive reviews and a lot of feedback. I was able to, get find us some new listeners and get us some feedback. And man, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm just happy to have folks rocking with us. I'm happy to have folks that are willing to reach out and tell me what you think about the episode, what you think about us. Any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Hit our socials at What's Happening. That's we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Hit us up and let us know how you feel. Also got a little hate mail. I sent you the text about it, bro. I got a little hate mail.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, somebody we put out a little ad on Facebook, and I'm not gonna put the man's name out. I'm not gonna be petty. I'm not gonna be ugly. But he responded to the ad in the inbox on Facebook with a meme that told me to go FUCK myself. So that kind of felt good. I was like, dang, man. Dang, I'm getting hate mail already. We must be doing something right. So all jokes aside. All jokes aside, man, I appreciate all the feedback, all the criticisms that are, anybody that's giving me actual criticism outside of that one little meme, it's been, hey, here's the things that I think you guys can work on. And I definitely appreciate that. This is a new space. This is a new venture that, we're just trying it out, right? So, man, all feedback is welcome and it's appreciated. And again, man, we appreciate y'all rocking with us.
So.
The day ones, the new ones, happy to have you. Yeah, man. So let's get into the meat of today's topic. And we're going to call this one What's Happening with Vaccine Mandates. So, before we get into our conversations, the thing I want to say as a disclaimer is that Fred and I are two guys that are friends that know each other. We are not scientists. We are not medical professionals. We are not doctors. We ain't none of that. All right. The purpose of this
At
episode
all.
is not to tell you what we think you should do. It's not to tell you what you should do. This is a conversation of two friends expressing their feelings on it, right?
Facts.
The best thing for you to do is to consult your licensed professional physician um, with regards to getting a vaccine or not getting a vaccine or whatever. I ain't here to tell you what to do with your life. So I'm putting that out there now. I will leave a similar disclaimer in the show notes. We ain't here to try to tell you what to do. We're just having a conversation. And that's it. We just have the conversation and just, you know, it just give me an overall summary of what your thoughts are with the vaccine mandates. And then if you have a little bit of a personal perspective, by all means, please share that. I'll let you take it off for it.
Man, I always take it off. You take it off this time, bro. Right. I always trying to piggyback off me. I'm rocking with you this time. I want to see. I already know how you feel, kind of, because I see your Facebook posts sometimes. So I just want to hear your opinion.
Yeah,
I'm trolling those posts.
I think you know how I feel, but I don't think you know how I feel. I don't like the idea of a vaccine mandate. Yeah, I see that shock look in your face.
Hey, I mean, okay, but I see the way you worded it, and that's what I wasn't expecting. So, I mean, either way, it's gonna be okay.
No, I mean, I don't. I personally, I understand it. I understand, why the president is leading the country down that path. I don't think that. I think there's other ways to get the desired result. And one thing about you learn this in in business when you're engaging with people. If you're in a setting where you have subordinates and you need to give instruction, you learn this in being a father. You learn this in being a spouse or a mother for the women that are listening. So in being a parent and being a spouse, how you communicate a message matters just as much, if not more, than the message itself. And I say that, in a summary, and we'll get into some detail throughout the conversation. But I understand the ideology of a vaccine mandate. I think there's better ways to achieve the desired results.
And I agree 100%. I'm not with a vaccine mandate at all. Being more the rebellious type, I'm not with a lot of mandates anyway. So, now you're talking about a vaccine. That's definitely not up my alley.
Now, let me interrupt you for a second, just because I should have said this, and I'm not saying this to you just to have this out there. I'm not anti-vaccine at all, and that's kind of what Fred was hitting at earlier. Just in the interest of full disclosure, I am an individual that is fully vaccinated. I strongly believe that everyone should be vaccinated unless you have a licensed physician to tell you otherwise why you should not. I think that it's something that we should all do. I don't think that the government should be telling you that you have to do it. However, I think that it is a decision that you should come to on your own when you're ready. Now, go ahead and continue. I didn't want to cut you off, but I just wanted to make sure that that was understood.
And that's why I said I wasn't expecting how you said it when you're just like, you know, with the vaccine mandate, but I got it. And, just to say, I am a non-vaccinated individual, you know what I'm saying, who is fully, anti-vax. Like, so it makes it even better conversation because we get, a bias from both sides.
Oh yeah, look at that. We got two people that think differently that can have an honest conversation with each other.
And they can, and here's one of my first points of saying problem with being anti-vax is, everybody's like, well, you're not a health professional, you didn't go to school for this, you didn't. But in health profession, it is the practice of, not the science of. See, and the reason it's the practice of is because they're not 100% sure. They're trying different things, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a guarantee. See, the science of is a guarantee. They know exactly what is going on or what is needed, you know what I'm saying, to make this, for it to react or counteract this. And that's why, saying, oh, well, these are professionals that's in this field that's went to school and did all these studies, they still don't know 100%. It's not the science of, you know what I'm saying? They're not 100% sure about this vaccine, you know what I'm saying? And that's been my biggest thing against, when it comes to health professionals in general, you know what I'm saying? And just the things they say or how they operate and things they do. And I see your face, so I can't wait for the rebuttal. But
no, I think I need you to clarify that. You say they're not 100% sure of the vaccine. What do you mean? What do you mean not 100% sure of the vaccine?
Like, they're not 100% sure that this vaccine is, how are they saying it? Curving it or helping the numbers get low or what have you, and you can say, oh, well, they're proving it, the numbers are there or the statistics are there, but it's truly not, and can you truly say they're being honest with each of those numbers or each of those statistics? Because it's been proven that, the numbers have been skewed, the numbers have been slighted, so some of those tests or different things have been falsified. So how can you say that this vaccine is actually working to, or be 100% that it's working to help lower, the chances or percentage of catching it or spreading it or what have you?
Well, I think the evidence of that would be, all right, there's a lot to unpack there, because the evidence of that is when you look at the percentages. I mean, and I haven't looked at any data because, again, we're not trying to be scientists. We're just having conversation. There's
correct.
When you see like the numbers of, so, all right, let me take some steps back. One of the frustrations that I have, particular, so I'm in Michigan, and right now the Michigan it has like the highest daily count per state out of the United States right now. Like Michigan is doing, we're seeing not only the highest numbers in the country, we're also seeing the worst numbers in Michigan that we've seen, period, with regards to COVID tests. My frustration is when they report the amount of positive cases, because when you see a report of positive cases, it's just like, I think that people take to the vaccine, man. I'm saying so much and I don't have my thoughts organized. the vaccine is not going to 100% stop someone from getting infected with COVID. And that's
Well, we
not
definitely know that now.
right. Right. Well, we've always known that. And I think that's a problem too, is that people kind of believe that it was 100% going to, or, or some of that is the way messages are communicated. Like I've heard President Biden say, if you get the vaccine, you won't get sick. And that's misleading. It's crazy misleading because your chances are significantly reduced according to uh, all available data from all over the world. When you are vaccinated, your chances are significantly reduced, but it's not 100%, right? And it was never 100%.
But how do you know for sure they're significantly reduced? I mean,
what do you mean? So that's why I say
because of the vaccine.
That's why I say relative to. Let me unpack all of this. let me because there's a lot to get to. So man, whew, my thoughts are so disorganized right now.
As you can see, this is not scripted. This is just two individuals having a talk.
So that was a mistake. Is again effectively, communicating a message, right? Now, I say that to say is that if President Joe Biden, the President of the United States, if he comes out and says, if you take this vaccine, you won't get sick, and then people who are vaccinated get COVID, we think, okay, it's not true. And I think like what can happen is that can really, if I can, kind of point to real world examples, is that was in like February or March that Biden had a town hall event on like CNN where he said that. And then a few months down the road, you have Chris Paul. Again, y'all know I love basketball. Chris Paul, who plays for the Phoenix Suns, he had to miss the first 3 games of the Western Conference Finals last year because he tested positive for COVID. And it came out that he was indeed a fully vaccinated individual. There was, I can remember a baseball team back in the spring, they had to either postpone a bunch of games or something because like the whole team had to shut down because there was like a COVID infection. Someone can tweet at us and if you know the team I'm talking about, the situation that happened in the MLB earlier this year, and it came out that that team took pretty much the vast majority of that team took the Johnson and Johnson. They took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So what I say is that if you have the president to say, if A, then B, and then you have examples shortly thereafter, that helps to sow distrust into the vaccine. So that's why I say like messaging matters.
Here's my thing with the message though. How is it not mentally? How do you expect somebody to say, I'm gonna get this vaccine, but I knowingly that I still can catch it? Like, so what's the point? I might as well take my chances without it.
Here's why. Because that type of perspective is 50-50. And that's where that viewpoint is just wrong. Virtually like some 95 to 97% of COVID infections right now are amongst people that are unvaccinated.
Is that what they're showing us, or is that a proven fact? Can you prove that anywhere?
I mean, I can see, but
I'm just saying. I'm not telling you go get the numbers. I'm not saying
that's what I'm saying. Like I can go get the numbers to show you that.
With it, but I'm saying, is that an actual proven fact, or is that just what we're going off of? Because not a lot of people is really doing the research behind this. They're just taking a side you know what I'm saying, by a influencer, and they're running with it.
So
So, you know what I'm
so
saying?
relative back to my point where I say like frustrations and how you communicate the message. So like right now, I follow one of the local news networks on Twitter, and I've subscribed to their tweets. So every time they tweet, I don't have to go follow them. I don't have to go do research. Anything that they tweet, any article that they tweet, I get notified of it. And every day, and this is local Channel 4 here in Detroit, they tweet Michigan is reporting X amount of cases. Here's our running 3-day average. This is the highest it's ever been in Michigan, right? But what they do is they report the numbers. And there was like a 2 or 3 day stretch where I was just like, I would reply, hey, what's the number in those unvaccinated? Because that's the problem that's being reported. It's this how many people are. The information is not as easily accessible. It's easier to say this is how many cases we got today. This is how many cases we're getting per day. You got to do a little bit more proactive work on your own to say, okay, there was 10,000 cases, and out of those 10,000 cases, 9,743 of them were unvaccinated individuals. And so what I'm saying is that if you put that onus on people to do the work to find that additional information, that's just not going to happen. But if they were to say, we got this many people infected, and out of this X amount of number that's been infected, 98% of them were unvaccinated, 96% of them were unvaccinated. If you had that kind of data being made readily available, that would help to create more trust.
No, I'm gonna tell you what'll create more trust.
Okay.
From a unvaccinated anti-vax person. If you go get the numbers from the flu, from when it started, and they started calculating it, and you put it over the same time span, and show me of non-vaccinated flu and vaccinated flu, and show me the death toll ratio, and show me the percentage difference of how wildly that COVID is killing people, you know what I'm saying, and spreading through people versus the flu, then you might have my attention. But if the numbers is no different than the flu, what am I going to be scared of? What if the numbers are lower than the flu in the same time span of when it kicked off, took place, you know what I'm saying? Because we still have the flu. It's not mandated to be a vaccine, but we have a vaccination for it. And at the same time, it killed more people than COVID has. But if you give me the same window time frame of when the flu started, how many people it killed, you know what I'm saying? How many of those was vaccinated and non-vaccinated? And show me the difference in the percentage. Now you have my attention. Because now if you show me a 60% difference of how many people died in the same year and a half time frame from the flu versus COVID, now, okay, yeah, we might need to chill out, man. We tripping. Go get this damn vaccine. But I'm being for real.
I know, it's just the way you said it, though.
But you know what I'm saying? But if you talking about a 1% difference, man, well, shit.
See,
that's 1% across the world.
And it's
you know what I'm saying? Like that's like dying in an elevator at that point.
It's stuff like that gives me pause with vaccine mandates. Because when you look at the numbers relative to, all right, it is not a death sentence to get COVID and die. So full transparency, I was fortunate enough to work from home for the back half of 2020, and 2021 is when I took a new position that got me out in the field. 2 weeks after getting out in the field, I got COVID, and I'm not about to put all my business out there, but I am for sure high risk. And you know what? Like I didn't have a vaccine at this point. I mean, the vaccine was out, but my age range and I didn't qualify for the vaccine at this point when I got COVID, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I just flat out got COVID. Um, and thank God, my case was um, my case was mild, right? And like I said, I'm an individual that they would classify as high risk. Um, and my case was mild. I had a headache the first day with a little dizziness, and for the most part, I had a cough for 2 weeks. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel. I never lost smell. I never lost taste. I never had trouble breathing. I was incredibly fortunate. And I say incredibly fortunate because what will happen is that you'll have people who are anti-vaccine. They'll say, "Look at this guy. He's high risk. He had a light case. It didn't do anything to him." Right? I remember seeing a post last year after President Trump got COVID, and he recovered relatively quickly. And I mean, there's also I'm not going to get into the rumors about maybe he didn't recover as quickly as it was projected. But I remember when the reports were first coming out that he recovered relatively quickly, they were like, "Hey, this is an old man. He's overweight. He's got this. He's got that." And COVID didn't kill him. Is it really that bad? And I think people they cherry pick that type of stuff. And like, if someone wants to cherry pick that, I would say, rest in peace to Alante Troop. Alante Troop is a gentleman that I used to work with. He was a third party support for me in a previous employer. And to the very best of my knowledge, he had no underlying conditions, and COVID took him out of here 2 days before his 31st birthday. So the truth, so for me, the messaging should be, hey, this could be bad. If you get it could be really bad. It could be. Not it will be, but it could be. Here's the thing. We've got this vaccine. Um, Here's the numbers that we're seeing. If you get it, if you get this vaccine, your chances for getting COVID are low, and then if you get COVID, um, your chances of getting severely sick are even lower than that. But it's your choice, right? Now, me, what I actually think, and the reason why I ran out and got the vaccine so fast, I think that, and this is going to be unpopular, but it is what it is. I think that there should be mask mandates.
Hell no. Nigga, you know how many times I almost died with them goddamn boy? No, nah.
Now,
and
go ahead.
Here's what I say. But we are in two different fields of work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when COVID first came out, and I'm coaching basketball at a middle school level. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not in, nowhere near shape to be, doing any conditioning with any middle school kids. I shouldn't be. I'm just asking for somebody to bring, the cardiac arrest team out and get me up off the ground. But I was in the gym, I was active, working out and stuff at the time. And so I did a 6 and 55 with them. And my guy.
For the listeners that don't know, and for me, what's a 6 and 55?
So basically, you run down 3/4 court to the opposite free throw line, and then you turn around and backpedal the rest of the way to full court, and then you sprint all the way back down 6 times.
Oh, okay.
So, and you do that in 55 seconds.
Oh, 6 and 55. Okay.
Yeah.
I could have sworn that was just called suicides, but go ahead.
Nah, suicide is you go to free throw line back, half court back, opposite free throw line back, full court back. That's
okay.
Suicide.
Okay. All right. So continue.
So yeah, and I mean, I about passed out at the end of that with a mask on. You know what I mean? So when I say like just mask mandates, you know what I'm saying? That's hard because and then also that fabric inside that mask is it gets to wear out, you know what I'm saying, after a while. You know what I mean? Just rubbing against your face and whatnot, depending on the material or what kind of mask you got, you know, because everybody don't like those regular blue and white masks because of, you know what I'm saying, how it makes the behind the ears feel and what have you. So, you know what I'm saying, depending on the type of mask you got as well. It restricts your breathing, you know what I'm saying? It's not, you know what I'm saying, ideal for you to be wearing that, you know what I mean, for long periods of time. So
See, I don't know.
I mean, everybody can't drive to 5 stores in a day, Brad, and walk in for an hour, you know what I'm saying, with a mask on,
I
talking to
understand.
people
I
and go
understand that
back to
I'm
their car.
privileged.
That's not everybody's, you
I
know what I'm
understand
saying,
that I'm
MO.
privileged
Like,
in that regard because I walk into retail locations with a mask that spends somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, and then I get to walk out and take my mask off and get in my car and drive to the next spot. Sometimes the next spot's 5 minutes away, sometimes it's an hour away, depending on what I got going on for the day. Unlike a lot of the retail locations I walk into where they got their mask on 8 to 10 hours a day. I recognize that in that regard, I am privileged. So
and
when
I do
I
the same thing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, and truthfully, a lot of my work is outside, you know, until I go in to speak with them. So, you know, I'm outside. I'm not really around people, so I don't even have to wear my mask. You know, once I get out my truck, and then when I get ready to go inside and discuss what we need to discuss, I put a mask on, discuss it, whatnot, and do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is, you know. But like I said, everybody doesn't get that privilege, and I could just imagine because I did it when COVID first hit. I went and got a job with Amazon and walking that floor for 12 hours, you know what I'm saying, with that mask on inside that factory. It ain't pleasant, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's not, you know what I'm saying, the best thing. Is it doable? Yeah, it's doable, but it's not
but
fun,
see,
you know what I'm saying?
here's why for me the and that's like another thing is that messages get twisted. The reason why you should be wearing a mask is because first off, there's already enough evidence out there. Um, the mask is not going to prevent you so much from getting COVID, but it can slow you down from giving it to somebody else.
So, real quick,
Okay.
is this not a airborne disease? Does it not spread through the air
What you mean?
like COVID? Like, is it not spreading through the air? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this something that we're passing through touch, or are we passing this through? You know what I'm saying,
Oh, yeah, it
by
passes through
sharing
air.
genes. So it's passing through air.
Right.
Are you serious right now?
What you mean?
What is what can you stop air from getting in or through or around?
You can't
How do you
stop it.
stop air?
That's the thing. You can't stop it,
So
but you
then
can slow
a
it down.
mask. It.
All right. So
I, I I mean I'm being realistic. That's like the plastic you see hanging from the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? That's only like a 4x8 sheet in the middle between you, but you can literally go like this, reach around it with your left hand and smack the person on their forehead if you want to. But like that's preventing, I guess, a lot. You
well,
know what I mean? Like I don't.
it's
And then here's the thing: when we first started, it was all about washing your hands and, you know what I'm saying, making sure you
mhm.
keep your hygiene up and stuff. But yet we have a coin shortage, so everybody's like, okay, use now in some places. I've been in some places and they're like, we got a corn shortage, so you need to have exact money or use your card. But we're using card readers, pressing buttons all day. Nobody's sanitizing, nobody's doing nothing after. Some people got them covered in plastic, some people don't. But yeah,
see, I think that's relative to where you are, because in Michigan, I remember they had a lady at the self-checkout that was literally just spraying down the little machines at the at the Target I was at, just like, hold on, you can't go yet. They were spraying it down. They was, spraying down the little scanner, the little buttons. They had little plastic covers on all of that, right? So I think that's more so relative to where you are. But back to your point where you said at first they told us about the touch, that's another thing that like people didn't necessarily fully process. And again, I blame that on how a message is communicated. When COVID first, really kind of took off here in the States, a year and a half ago, we were saying like, don't touch, like they were saying like, don't touch stuff you don't have to touch, and don't do that. It's because it was new. Didn't know. So they were just kind of, and that's the thing that people
they're feeling their way out. I get it.
Feeling their way out. Exactly. Right. It's as time has progressed, like the message came out, hey, and like there's some things I realized too, that like, because I'm a nerd and I follow a lot of political stuff and listen to a lot of different political stuff, that like I hear a lot of messages that a lot of people just don't, because of what they choose to listen to. And I'm not saying you should have to, but when you're communicating messages to the masses, it has to be digestible. I'm saying all that to say is that it came out pretty quickly. I want to say by like June, like May or June of 2020, we realized that you wasn't gonna catch COVID by touching a cash register. You wasn't gonna get COVID by touching a coin. You was gonna get COVID by, being in contact, being in close proximity to other folks that had COVID. And maybe it was a little later than that, but that message never really got across. You just suddenly heard less conversations about washing your hands.
So here's my thing though. Even if you're gonna catch COVID by being within close proximity to somebody else, so all right, they say stay 6 feet apart, right? So you're in line and you're 6 feet apart, and the person in front of you has COVID. When they walk 6 feet up and you walk into that 6 foot space, and you got to stand there to the next spot available, so you can be there for 30 seconds in that 6 foot space, or you can be there for 30 minutes in that 6 foot space. Don't let it be holiday time right now, boy. Woo. I mean, I'm playing devil advocate, because this is why it's mind blowing for the mandate of a vaccine. This is why it's crazy to me. And then even take it to our favorite sport with, a great guy, Kyrie Irving, you know what I mean? Like,
man, that dude.
Here's the thing. Don't do that. Don't do that. He's great. He's a wonderful guy, and I applaud him for standing on, on whatever principle it is he has. If he don't care, that's his own prerogative. Hey, don't you come for Kyrie Irving, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, because, and this is why, here's my thing. Not only can he not play in his home games because of, New York's mandate, and the NBA as an organization left this decision up to basically your state, you know what I mean? Whatever your state rule is, that's what they, kind of doing, like, because not every NBA organization, every NBA player has to have a COVID shot. You know what I mean? Like, that they don't.
Well, yeah, the NBA isn't mandating vaccine. Well,
it's whatever your state is, right?
It's for the players' union. Yeah, they couldn't. They did, to the best of my knowledge, they didn't even try to do a vaccine mandate on the players.
But that's what I'm saying. But if your state mandates it, then that's what you got to go by, right? So
yeah, the government
up to your state.
Yeah, the government supersedes the team.
So okay, so here's my thing to it though. Like, not only can he not play in home games, but he's eligible to play by, league rules and whatnot. He's eligible to play in away games.
Mm-hmm.
But because his team and his state, band together and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and do it because the state says we have to in order to play in our arena. How am I part of an organization where the rule doesn't apply to everybody, but you're mad at me for not, for not doing what it is I need, to do to, be able to play, I guess, so to speak. But it's not like that across the board. So how can you be mad at me or punish me even more from my team standpoint? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna just flat out disagree with you on there. You know just as well as I know, basketball is a game of chemistry. If Kyrie can't play half the season, they can't really build a chemistry by him playing some games on the road and some games at home. What they gonna do if it's a game 7, it's a tight series, and game 7 in Brooklyn, and he can't play, and they need him to play, and they ain't had a chance to build no chemistry because they go on and off with him. We've seen plenty of times in basketball teams where they go through injuries and they can't build chemistry. Nah,
this and I agree with you there. But you know what I did though, as a team or as a an organization that says, you know what, I got my brother's back. Whatever his reasoning is, and he don't want to take it, cool. Because I tell you what, I don't think New York wants to lose a lot of money, and let's just be honest, the Nets is bringing in quite a bit of money. So I, as a team owner, would have just propositioned, hey, we go back to New Jersey. You know what?
Yeah, but it ain't that simple.
Expansion team this year.
It ain't that simple. You got lease agreements. You have agreements with the city. You can't do that, right? And then you talk about having our brothers back. This is why. What about the rest of the team, right? What about LaMarcus Aldridge, who had a serious heart condition that had to retire last year, and then he came back because he was an integral part to that team. He was a missing piece that they probably could have used against Giannis in the second round where they lost, and Giannis ended up winning the championship instead. He gets himself together. He comes back, right, to try to help them. What about that guy? What about Kevin Durant, who came here, who went to Brooklyn with Kyrie, right? What about James Harden, who by hook or by crook made his way to Brooklyn to play with them too? So you're saying shouldn't we have his back? To me, that's just not even a thing because Kyrie is not doing that for his team also, right? Now, again, we both agree. Yeah, we both agree that you shouldn't have a vaccine mandated, and so his and Kyrie's the thing that he's loosely kind of said, he's never outright said it, is at least from what I've gathered from the things that I've heard him say, is it's about freedom, because he hasn't outright said it. You said it earlier. It's about freedom of choice. And the thing that I will always say about freedom of choice is that freedom of choice does not mean freedom of consequence. These are the consequences of his choices.
I mean, everything is gonna have a ending to it. Whatever, every action has a reaction. You know what I'm saying, and whether it's a good one or a bad one, and that going into it. So, it is what it is. But I'm just saying in general. You know what I'm saying. I don't like that. In that situation, that they're mandating some of these people out here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love the idea of a mandate, right? I think it should, of a vaccine mandate. And I say the vaccine mandate because it's something that's going in your body, all right? And I am full on your body, your choice. So the government should not have to force you, should not be trying to force you to put something in your body. I am full on absolutely not. The government should not be able to tell you what you should be able to put in your body. However, it is also the government, I believe, it is also the government's responsibility to do what's in the greatest interest interest of the general public, right? So I say all of these things to say is that you can do what you want to do for you, but your choices should not be allowed to negatively impact me. That's why I say mask mandate. If you are at least wearing a mask, there's at least some sort of slowdown to transmission. Because first off, the thing that I think we need to like get out of our heads that people say is, man, I can't wait for COVID to be over. It's never going to be over. My opinion, at least. And again, it's never going to be over. But that said,
why don't we just live with it then? I mean, why don't we just continue to live life?
But I think there's a way to do it, right? It's still the thing about it is we like to compare it to the flu because you get flu-like symptoms, but it's still a new disease that we are going to be learning about for years to come.
It's not even necessarily you can say you get flu-like symptoms. I mean, you do, I guess. I don't know. Like, so that's the other part to it. And that's why I say like the numbers are skewed and they're slighted because just for the simple fact that before they really announced COVID or say anything about it in like January, November, I mean, like I got sick, like sick. I'm sitting here like I got the shakes, you know what I'm saying, fever, hot flashes, you know what I mean? Like I can't eat nothing. I'm all type of messed up. Like, you know what I mean? Heart start pounding and racing and stop. Like, I'm like, what in the world? And this is like a week and a half. Like, and I'm like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm a self-medicator, so I take NyQuil, you know what I mean, real quick, fast, in a hurry, over the counter, straight from the tap. I ain't even gonna pour a little thing, just take a couple gulps and go to sleep with a hoodie on, sweats on, long johns underneath. Like I'm sweated out, big thick blanket, that's just what I do. And it took about, like I said, a week and a half, but I was like, this is crazy. And before that, like year before that, my daughter, she caught the flu. And I mean, she's in the room like, why won't it stop? Like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, she's just screaming. I'm like, girl, if you don't chill out, like, it can't be like, I've never caught the flu. So I have no clue. So I catch this and I'm assuming it's the flu. And I'm like, hey, baby, I'm sorry. I'm apologize to you because if you felt anything like this, I'm a grown man. I'm just like, this is hell. You know what I'm saying? So if you felt like this, I see why you was in your bed screaming and reacting because, you know what I mean, there was nothing you could really do about it. So, I'm like, and the only reason I say I had the flu is because my youngest daughter, she wouldn't leave me alone while I was sick, come crawling on me while I'm asleep. And she got sick, took her to the hospital. They said she had flu strand A, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, so that must be what I had because I was the only one in the house sick. So she must have got it from me. So I assumed I had the flu. 2 months later, they're talking about COVID.
So you talking about back in like 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so and so it's like, and there's a lot of people that's comes out and say, man, I feel like I had COVID, before we knew what COVID was. So you have a lot of cases where this unaccounted for, you know what I'm saying, of how many people went through it and lived through it. And then, it's just like, you also say the symptoms is pretty much any symptom of any cold. Yeah. So how can you know what I'm saying, really specify these numbers and say this vaccine is helping that when you can't even go and say like, hey, I got crew cough, you know what I'm saying? I just need some cough syrup, they're gonna be like, you need a COVID test. We think you got COVID. Like, nah, I've had this, plenty of times in my life. This is just old crew cough, this deep respiratory cough. Nah, you're gonna get a COVID test. Nah. Well, we can't see you.
And that's why I'll give you pushback because I think the point that you're making, if I'm understanding you correctly, is that we will never know every COVID case, and that's true because the truth of the matter is when I got COVID, like I said, it was super mild, right? The reason why I went and got a COVID test was because for one of the retailers that I support, um, you have to take a little virtual like sign in and say I don't have these symptoms, this, that, and the other. And because I kept hitting, first off, like the test will say, do you have any of these symptoms? To your point, is do you have any of these symptoms? And because I had the one symptom of cough, the answer was yes. And because I said yes, I could not do that. I could not visit that retailer. So what happened was is that I could not. I literally could not do half my job. But again, I feel fine. It's just a cough. It's the middle of winter. I'm just assuming, hey, this is just what it is, right? And it wasn't until my boss said, hey, why don't you go and do this just to be safe, right? So I go and I get the test. And when I get the test, like uh the guy at the spot is, asking me these questions. Are you feeling this? Are you feeling that? Are you feeling this? Are you feeling that? Is your energy this? Is your energy that? And I'm just like, the whole time I'm just like, it is just a cough, right?
Hmm.
Um, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna prescribe you some antibiotic or whatever it was. And like, I have asthma. Well, I was born with asthma. I haven't had an asthma attack since I was a child. But he's like, man, have you needed an inhaler? I'm just like, no, like I'm fine. Like it's just been a cough. Um, and then it comes back, oh, you actually did test positive for COVID, right? So I think that if you're looking for a semblance of consistency with this disease, like you're never going to get that. Or if you are going to get that, it's not going to be anytime soon, right? And I think that it's because it's so new, and there's some people that have had like some long they've had some serious long side effects. Like I saw a video of I mean I saw a video on TikTok of a girl, she got COVID, and um she's she either like permanently lost her taste, or everything is now like repulsive to her with her taste. Like it just permanently changed her taste. We talk about basketball a lot accidentally. It's not a sports podcast, but Jason Tatum, a basketball player for the Boston Celtics, he got COVID and it really knocked him down. I haven't made time to read the article yet, but apparently, according to Joel Embiid, when he just had COVID just now, it felt really bad for him. So like, as it's new and we're learning stuff,
My
it's
daughter has COVID as we speak. You know what I'm saying? She just tested positive as we speak for COVID. Like,
that is the
they
bomb that I
called
did
it.
not see coming.
Yeah, they called us on Thanksgiving Day and said that she had COVID. And truthfully, it started because she went to basketball practice earlier that day, and she had training that night. And it was like, um, her mom was like, "You going to training?" She's like, "Nah, it was hard for me to breathe earlier." She's like, "Oh, okay, well, you didn't say nothing, but all right. So we'll sit this one out." So, I come home like, "What you mean you're not going?" She's like, "Well," she said it was hard for her to breathe. I'm like, I think it's, night before Thanksgiving. She just trying to, kick it. I ain't with it. So I was gonna send her, and I'm just like, whatever, y'all made this decision. I'm gonna let y'all, stick it out. So my youngest daughter wakes up, you know what I'm saying? She's crying with her ear, holding her ear. Like, what's wrong? Like, did you put something in it or something? She like, yeah, I'm looking, I don't see nothing in the ear. So I'm like, all right. So I give her some juice or something, she chill out. Well, just out of nowhere, she starts screaming about her ear again. And so, Marge's like, all right, we about to go to the ER. So she's getting her ready, and she's like, hey, come on. You gonna go to the ER too. You know what I'm saying? You talking about you're short of breath. Come on. So they go in the ER. And the first thing they do is like, hey, we're gonna order a COVID test and a flu test for both of them. And my lady's like, what? Like, hold on. Yeah, for this one, but she's got an earache, like ear infection. You know what I'm saying? Like, why she need a COVID test? And they're like, so they get the asking the youngest one like, what hurts? She's like, my ear. And they're like, anything else? She's like, no. They're like, so what hurts? She's like, my ear. They're like, which one? She points to the one, saying, same one that she keeps saying. So they do the test on her. Sure enough, she has an ear infection. Do the test on my other daughter. You know what I'm saying? Sure enough, she comes back positive for COVID. But everything else is fine. She's just like, hey, I'm short of breath. So it's not, what I mean? But it's like at the same time, could that be something else?
So you're saying like you don't really trust the test results?
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like at this point, like shortness of breath or, saying fevers or, saying diarrhea, runny nose, like all those are signs of COVID. So it's like, that's why I'm asking, like, can it be something else?
You're saying can it be something else that's giving her shortness of breath even though she tested positive for COVID?
Yeah. Because there's so many different symptoms of COVID that's just basically everyday sicknesses.
I guess I
See,
don't really know.
The shortness of breath only came from, when she was at practice.
Right. But if she still tested positive for COVID, I guess I don't know what you're really saying there. Or I guess I don't understand it.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, basically with everything they classify, that could be COVID. It also has potential of being something else besides COVID. Like, even though you test positive for COVID, because at the same time, you could test positive probably, for bronchitis or, you could probably, for just numerous of different things, laryngitis, or it could have been just a asthma attack, like, because the same things that people are having symptoms from, that's what they were calling them before now.
See, and that's where, like, to me, where it gets dangerous because I'm just trying to like process my thoughts. What you're really saying is that like you would be saying like could she be sick for something else but also be positive from COVID and asymptomatic to the COVID? But if you're sick, I guess whew,
I mean, I'm not like
it just don't make sense, bro.
Huh?
It just don't make sense. If shortness of breath is a symptom of COVID and she tested positive for COVID, I mean, that's what it is.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but okay. So 4 years ago, you know what I'm saying, kid had shortness of breath. Was it COVID then? Or because we didn't know about COVID or weren't able to test for COVID?
Well, okay. So COVID was discovered in 2019. That doesn't mean that it was generated in 2019. So I mean, if you wanted to go that far, you could say COVID could have existed in 2015 and it just didn't spread. I don't see how that would be possible given the nature that it took over in late 2019 and by the time it got to the States in 2020. I see what you're saying there. But at that point, like, it's just one symptom doesn't connect you to one disease, right? Like,
no,
when I had shortness of breath when I was 4, that was probably because I had asthma and I was having an asthma attack, right? But like, just because like I could have shortness of breath tomorrow and it could not be to COVID, right? So I think to me that's just that's where it just gets irresponsible. It's like, okay, she tested positive and she's got shortness of breath, but could it be something else? I mean, it's just it. There's more than enough evidence that shortness of breath is a potential symptom of COVID. It doesn't mean that you're going to get everything in there, and it doesn't mean that every.
So could she
Excuse me,
not
it
be
doesn't
having
mean.
an asthma attack? I'm just curious because you said that's what yours was when you were younger. I'm just maybe she needs an inhaler,
She could,
couple breathing treatments.
she could,
Because that's
but
what they
that is a
prescribe
symptom
it
of COVID.
anyway is breather treatments. Like that's the thing too. Like, you know what I mean?
See, and to me, when I hear that, that just says that you just don't want to believe that it's
No,
COVID.
I'm saying like that's what they prescribe is breathing treatments, but most people with asthma have asthma attacks. You know what I'm saying? They give you albuterol with steroids and send you home with a machine and you know what I'm saying, how you wear the mask or whatever, or the tube, whichever one's more comfortable for the kid. And I'm not saying that it's not, bro. I'm not saying that I don't believe it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying that from somebody who basically and anti-vaccine type person, me personally, if I had got shortness of breath, it would probably have to take me out to the point like I'm sitting here like, hey, I I can't, you know what I mean? Because truthfully, I'm just like, oh shit, I'm just moving too fast. So I need to sit my ass down real quick. You know what I'm saying? Get my breath together. I'm not gonna go get a COVID test, you know what I'm saying? Just in general. Like if I had a fever, I'm not going to go get a COVID test. And that's how most people are. They're like, it's like, okay, whatever. I'm sick. I just take some over the counter medicine. You know what I'm saying? The only way they're gonna really probably go and get a COVID test or something of that nature is if they have been sick for a prolonged time. Like, okay, I done took my normal medicine, it still ain't did nothing. I ain't got over this cold or what have you. Then they might, but generally,
Okay, I see what you're saying there. I think you're talking about like not being afraid of COVID. That's, I think that's what you're
some
getting at.
some people are not. I mean, you can take it that way. It's
Well, no, no,
you can
no,
say
no, no,
it's
no,
not.
no. I'm asking you. I'm saying you are saying that you're not afraid of COVID, and I
Well,
think,
definitely not.
and I think what you're saying is you might get a symptom of COVID, but you're not. Your first thought is going to be, oh my god, I might have COVID.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying, right? And
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I was the same way. I had a headache and a cough, and I only went and got the test because my boss said, hey, let's go get you tested just to be safe. Turns out I actually did have the COVID, right? And so I feel like we're getting off track from the we've got very far off track from the vaccine mandate portion, but um, to that point, I don't think it's about living in fear. I think it's about living in awareness and 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 in knowledge, right? And I think that you know trying to force people to get a vaccine mandate is not great. Now, to to be
But
fair, if
okay, so to that aspect, if you mandate the vaccine, and let's just say they get 98% of the population vaccinated, miraculously, let's just say.
so, because you're about to make the same point. So before you finish your question, let me the point that I was just about to make is that as of like last week, 90% of the country have had at least one shot of the vaccine. Go ahead and continue.
So if they say they get 98% of us, you know what I'm saying, vaccinated. At that point, do we stop going to get checked, you know what I'm saying, to see if we got COVID? Because now we're vaccinated. So now no one has a fear of it because we're all vaccinated. This is supposed to, help curb it or whatever, so we can go back to normal life, right? So we don't have to go and get checked for this no more. They might do that check if I go to, the doctors or to the ER or something, depending on when I come in. But generally, we're not going to get checked for that. You know what I mean? We're just going to go back to live normal life. And then as people come into the ER, we're just going to be diagnosing it as, oh, it's COVID, send them home. Give them this many days off.
So I do think, to your point, we will eventually get to a point where it's so ingratiated in our society that you won't see daily case report count. Like, I won't know that there will be a point that I won't know that Michigan has the running the highest daily total right now. I think there's still that fear because it's new and people are scared and things of that nature. But like, if everybody gets a shot, will we be done with it? No. And I think that is a message that is also miscommunicated / misunderstood. It starts with, hey, we're going to stay in the house for 14 days to slow the curve. A lot of people took slow the curve as, if we all stay at home for 14 days, it's going to stop. One, that was never going to happen. Two, it was never going to stop. Two, people didn't stay home. they went they went out, they went on vacations, whatever, blah blah blah. But
and that's because part of it is you still had the, oh well, I'm essential. So
oh yeah,
now you finna tell this group they're essential.
Everybody became essential.
Oh yeah, you got that right.
Oh yeah,
you're not finna tell one group, oh now they got more privileges than I do.
Them retail stores became essential
quickly. You know what I mean?
Making $9.65 an hour, you essential. All right.
Here you go.
All right, but so that's why I go back to my point about how a message is communicated, because is this just going to go away when we reach I think what you're alluding to is herd immunity. Is it just going to go away? No, because vaccination wanes off over time, just like it does with any vaccination. There's a reason why people get a flu shot every year, is because new strains come out and not blah blah blah. If you into science, you understand there's a reason why there's a new flu shot to get every year. There's a reason why they're now saying, hey, if it's been at least 6 months since your fully vaccinated status was reached, you can go get a booster, because there's new strains. It's just going to keep evolving. We just hear about this new strain, the Omicron or something like that, that's coming out of South Africa right now.
I don't even keep up. After Mute, they lost me. You know what I'm saying? Too much.
To that point, the point that I'm making is that I am of the opinion that it is never going to go away. And the reason why I think vaccine mandates are not a great idea. Not only, again, should you be forced to put something into your body, I'm totally against that perspective. But again, freedom of choice comes with freedom of consequence. If you choose not to get vaccinated, there should be some other consequences, because your choice shouldn't be allowed to negatively impact me. But having said all of that, you're gonna do a vaccine mandate, and then 2 or 3 years we get another strain that's real strong, like Delta was, and we see numbers, and we see that this certain strain is strong against the vaccines and this, that, and the other. You're gonna put another mandate? No. So to your point, there is some ways that
I mean, it's gonna become like the flu shot. Basically, it's gonna be by choice again. Oh well, if you choose to get this, this shot this year, but that's crazy.
I think
you know what I mean. That's.
I think to your point, there's a way to communicate that message, or I guess to my point more so, there's a way to communicate that message, right? I think the idea of we get vaccines and we can end COVID forever, I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I just don't think it's gonna go away forever. But I think that there's a way that we can live with it and we can live responsibly. And I think that our government and our media.
You say that like it's buying a 24 pack from the carryout or something. Drink responsibly. You can live responsibly.
But
It's not the lottery.
I think that how that message has been communicated hasn't been the best, and I think that I mean you're gonna have people that are like you that's just gonna be skeptical no matter what. Your daughter can get can get test positive and still might think it's something else.
I mean, it's not that I'm gonna be skeptical. My whole take on it is, truthfully, where I stand at is it for me. It's just you're just not gonna tell me what to do. Like no, that's really not it. But I mean, I really lost my train of thought when I was about to tell you what it was. But I mean, it boiled down to, you know what I'm saying? I can't see how this here has been crazier than any other thing we've seen in the past. And for me, I'm just not gonna stop living my life, you know what I'm saying? Because to what I consider normal, because you and a bunch of other people feel that, you know what I'm saying, hey, this thing is that bad, we need to all run and hide and whatnot. Like, it's basically in a nutshell, that's what it is. And if we let you force our hand into this or into thinking this, you know what I'm saying, what's going to be the next thing? We didn't do this with no other disease, plague, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? None of them. And I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, a lot of them has death tolls way more. You know what I'm saying? And then people say, well, this one, if you give it the same amount of time, it'll have the same death tolls as, as the flu and as the other ones. But at the same time, will it, or will it be like Ebola and next year and a half, we won't even be talking about this? You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking about, hey, what happened to COVID? Just like we said with Ebola or with H1N1 or with, you know what I'm saying, the hundreds of other things that have came and gone. And that's where I stand with it, really. It's we can see so many things come and go. Like, I kind of feel like our parents. That's, it's just gonna come and go, and we'll move on, because we will. We're
Well,
gonna live on.
I do think that it's dangerous to compare other diseases when they don't necessarily spread or impact people the same way. That said, I'm not about to have this conversation going for another 90 minutes.
I mean,
and the point that I would make is that, it's this conversation was not intended to, again, as we stated earlier, we're not looking to
persuade anybody or tell anybody
what to do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. This is just two friends having a conversation about the state of the vaccine mandates, and it spilled into a conversation regarding. I'm sorry, I got totally distracted here.
Basically,
I saw something pop up on my phone that said, "I hope Kanye is okay."
What?
Yeah.
Clickbait or?
I don't know. I'm searching them up. It doesn't seem to be. It might have just been. All right, nobody's saying anything important. I'm sorry, y'all. Kanye is my favorite rapper of all time, and if I had something in real time, we're gonna have to get into that. But the purpose of this conversation was not to tell people why they should or should not get a vaccine, how you should or you should not feel. This is just two friends that don't line up necessarily with their thoughts, and just having a conversation, right? Listen, make a choice for yourself of what to do. if I'm going to, no, I said we're not going to do nothing.
Leave it alone. See, what y'all don't understand. I think this is the perfect time to tell y'all how this podcast really got started. When he say this is just a conversation between two friends who don't line up, this all started from that job. We used to sit on the phone back and forth, and we would, talk about what's happening every day. And,
every day.
We believe that we have probably some of the best conversations that should be shared, and here we are on What's Happening. You know what I'm saying? What's happening, talking to y'all, or talking to us, really. You know what I'm saying, about what's happening. So that's really how it started. So that's why we say this is a conversation between two friends who generally don't align. Every now and then you'll see us somehow be on the same page, but we'll quickly probably jump to two separate pages. It's just the way we work.
But listen, man. Good conversation nonetheless. This is how you have respectful conversations with people that you may not necessarily agree with. We ain't cuss at each other. We ain't insult each other. You know what I'm saying? That's still my brother. We gonna laugh as soon as we stop recording, like we always do. But yeah, man. Follow us on social at Whus Hattnin. Give us the feedback. Let us know what y'all thought about the conversation. Let us know what y'all thought about the show in general. And follow me at Archbishop's Flag on all platforms. That's the name I have for 10 years. Don't ask me about it. Follow Fred on his various social medias. He might not realize you following him. But at Mr. Humble Beginnings.
Mr. Humble Beginnings.
Let me make sure y'all understand this. It's Mr.Humble_Beginnings. If you just type in Mr. Humble Beginnings, you ain't gonna find them. But Mr.Humble_Beginnings. That's how you find Fred. Follow us.
It ain't much there. I don't do a lot on social media.
You don't do a lot. You don't do a lot. But follow us on social media and tell us what you think about the show. And if you like it, rate us in your podcast app. Subscribe to it so you get notifications when we drop new episodes every Wednesday. And tell a friend about us and make sure they listen to us too and have conversations with them about what's happening and with the conversations when we talk about what's happening. That's all I got, bro.
Hey, that's perfect though what you said then. Have conversations with them about what's happening. I think if more conversations had about what's happening, it'll be a better place.
Yeah. And on that note, we out. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.